Welcome to Marketing Fridays, episode number 6. Today I'm going to be introducing you to Zapier.com, which I believe is like your web automation genie. And it's a really important part of what I've been talking about previously, and it's also important for you to understand in order to really do a lot of great marketing automation in the future episodes that we're going to be talking about. So here, let me get started by explaining to you first what it is that Zapier is. So Zapier is a web automation app. It's basically software that lives on the cloud or online, and with it you can build what are called zaps or workflows, and that is a set or a series of different actions that are taken to usually connect one thing with something else. So it's what lets you automate parts of your business or your life. Why parts of your life too? Because it cannot. Zapier is not only for business related things, but basically connecting over 750 different apps with each other. So a zap is kind of a blueprint for a task that you want to do over and over and over. So through Zapier you create zaps, which are workflows, and that lets you usually pass information from one place into another place, or have something that you want on one app go to another app. Okay. How does it actually work? So, I mean, in the simplest terms, there's kind of 3 to 4 steps involved on how Zapier works. The first is, you gotta think of something that you want something to happen, and then once that happens, you want something else to happen. That first step is basically called a trigger, and it's an action that you want to consider of something changing or being created on one software or one app. Let's call that app 1. So like here it says step number 1, something changes, gets updated, created, or happens on one of your apps. Let's call this app 1. And then Zapier is constantly checking every 5 to 15 minutes depending on your account, and it checks for all of these updates or what's new, and then once it finds something new, that's a trigger that automates or actually starts the zap or the workflow. So then what Zapier does, it checks, okay, something changed, now I'm going to go look for that zap, look at what you set up, and then based on that zap we're going to be doing the actions that you created, right? So then that's what step number 3 is about. When something on app 1 triggers the zap to begin, then we actually go through the process of what the zap says that it should do, and then it changes or updates app number 2. So here in the graphic that you see, it says an event happens in app 1, then Zapier notices the changes, and it basically performs a task and updates or creates that information on app 2. Okay, and I'm going to show you exactly how it works in a minute. So how do you usually get to set up a zap? In the most basic version here, you got to decide what is going to be the trigger, what's going to cause the zap to begin, and then what's going to be the action. In this case, there can be lots of different actions, and there can be lots of different triggers. And I'm going to show you some examples. And what can Zapier actually automate? Well, it can actually automate, like I said, over 750 apps as of February 2017. And right now there's about 55 different categories in terms of different types of software that Zapier automates with. Here you can see on the screen there's some of the most popular ones, such as Trello, Gmail, Google Sheets, Slack, MailChimp, Twitter, Dropbox, ActiveCampaign. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And by the way, Zapier is free for limited amount of zaps, but it's actually a great way to get started. So now let me show you actually how does Zapier look like from the inside. So I am right now connected to my Zapier account. This is the dashboard, and here I'm able to see all the different zaps that I created. Here on the left I can see the different folders that I created to just easily organize all the different zaps that I have. In this case I have the folder called Online Forms. This folder is where all my zaps are connecting my online forms that appear on my website with my CRM, the Customer Relationship Management System, which is where I save all my contacts. So I'm going to show you the example of how I set up this for the main contact form. So if you go to our website, this is what the website looks like on the contact page. And here you'll see the form. It looks like it's part of the page, but it's actually being embedded from JotForm, which is what we're using. So when you fill out this contact form and you click submit, that information actually gets saved on jotform.com, which has its own separate database. And then what I do is once that information is saved on the database, every 15 minutes Zapier checks if there's any new contact requests, and then it automatically gets that information and puts it into my CRM. I'm going to show you how that looks like. So here I clicked on actually editing the zap, and when I click on edit, I get to this page. Okay, in this case, the trigger that I chose is whenever there's a new submission. Okay, that means whenever anybody fills out that form, which means there will be a new submission, that's when I want the Zap to begin. Okay, here I connected to my JotForm account. I just told it, okay, which form do I want to use? And then I chose, out of the many different forms that I have on JotForm, I chose the one that is related to my contact form page. Okay, then I actually get to perform some actions. In this case, when people fill out the name, it's actually they're putting in their full name, their first and last name together. And just to really try Zapier, I said, okay, I want to get those two names, first and last, and I want to divide it into the first name and the last name. So this step 2, lets me split that text of the full name and get the first part of the name and call that the first name. And then in step 3, I do the same thing, and I get I get the second part of the name, which is the last name, and I call that last for last name. Once I have all that information, my step number 4 here is actually to create a new contact in my CRM. So I'm going to show you how that looks like. Okay, these are the different steps I'm telling Zapier, okay, the information that you got from the contact form should go and be saved into the CRM, in this case called Agile CRM. So here for first name, I'm saying get the output from step 2, which was the first name, and that'll be the first name of the person to be saved on the CRM. And then get the output from step 3, which is the last name, and put it here under last name. And then I get the field called email from the JotForm contact form and put it here into the email. And then the phone number into the phone number. And that's about it for now on this step. Down here I also have a special value called value services that the people are interested in, right? Because here on the contact form, people can choose, okay, I'm interested in branding or marketing or e-commerce or web development, and I want to be able to save that information into my CRM under a custom field that I created. So that custom field is called just service interest. So I also get that field and I input it there. Okay, obviously here you see a lot of fields that I can put. I'm not using all of them because I don't want to. And then I separately on step number 5, because by the way, Zapier now offers multi-step things, which is great. It's not just step 1 and step 2. Now you can do a lot of different steps and actually automate a bunch of different stuff with different apps at the same time. So you could technically have one Zap to connect between 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever amount of apps that you want. So here on step 5, I actually come in here and I say, okay, the field where people write the message, which is basically in text format like paragraphs, is not just one line of code. I want that to be saved as a note. So I come here and I say, okay, I want to create a note, and that's an action. You see, I have here 2 actions. The first action is to create the contact. The second action is to add a note to that contact. So here is the template for how I set up to save the note. First, we need to make sure that it matches, that the same person's information is matched with the note of that same contact in the CRM. And that's usually the field by email. The email is the primary key, or what's called the main, let's call it like username of that contact in there. So I say, okay, the field called email will be the way that we make sure that the note is going to be saved under the right contact's information. Then I'm going to give the note a name, note from the Luminary web contact form, and then the actual information from the contact form, in this case, it's the field called message. I'm going to put that as a description of the note, okay? And that's kind of it. When I'm done with that, I turn the Zap on and it works. So I'm going to show you how that works in just a second. So actually, let's get in here into our CRM, and I'm going to show you what that information looks like when people automatically fill out a contact form on our website, and that information automatically every 15 minutes gets saved on my CRM. And of course, I also get a notification. So right now, actually today, somebody contacted us on our form online, and the information is already here, and I'm going to show you. In this case, it's Lucy from the Sexy Mama Movement. So you can actually see here at the bottom, there's the note from Luminary web contact form, and here's the message that she wrote. In this case, later I wrote another separate note, so that's not the one that got automatically created. But you can see that her name, her company name, her phone number, her email address, it all got saved in here automatically. It also automatically tagged this contact as a lead that's active and that it came from the web. That's a special tag that I have hidden. It's a hidden field on our form so that I know that lead or that contact got created from our website as opposed to me creating a new contact on the CRM. So that really helps me remind myself that this came from the web. If I actually go to task, I have a whole separate Zapier task or Zap that creates a task for me to actually follow up with that contact in about a week. So here I can see that a new task has been created, it's assigned to me, and it says that it's due in 7 days from now. I put the name of the actual task to have the word Zapier on it. That way I know that it also was created automatically and it was not something that I created manually. And that's kind of it. All right, well, thank you so much for joining this episode, and in some future episode I'll go in more detail into how you create an actual new task, but this was just the introduction to Zapier. If you have any questions, definitely drop some comments below and I'll be happy to answer them. Bye bye. Thanks a lot.